Presenting our I, Gene, Nermeen, and Aaron. Alright, so we started out by trying to describe the company. So we described HubSpot as a small, close-knit, inbound marketing company that provides a cheap and simple way for consumers to create, analyze, and increase website exposure. The goals we described as increasing knowledge, rapport, demand, and growth for inbound marketing. The three issues presented in the case are: which customers will HubSpot serve? Will the company utilize outbound marketing, or will inbound marketing programs be sufficient? And then, what pricing model should the company use for new and existing clients? So, customers, when we say they have a very diverse portfolio of customers. The first breakdown happens at Ollie and Mary, and they have very different needs and very different constraints. Ollie's are money constrained and time constrained. Often they didn't have the 10 hours to put in per week, and often they didn't log on to the systems, and they didn't really see the results. On the other hand, Mary's had that time. They work with teams of people, they work for firms. They also have a budget. Large firms have just 10% of revenue, they just have a budget. Ollie's don't. So, and then once you categorize Ollie and Mary, and there's different categories. Are they B2B, B2C? Are they hosting with us? Are they not? Are they doing content management system with us? Are they not? There's plenty of other CMSs out there. So we've had to figure out certain things between Ollie's and Mary's. The first observation, I want to make it clear that they have different needs and they have different constraints. Ollie's need leads, Mary's need sales. Alright, so the objectives of data analysis: which customers are profitable, and two, which customers could be more profitable. And then finally, what pricing model would attract new clients and retain existing clients. Alright, so I'm going to jump straight into this. So, we started with the churn rates. And as the teacher gave us the insight, the inverse of the churn rate gives you the months of the paid subscription, which is critical to deriving the average revenue, which you just take the flat 500 plus 250 for Ollie, 500 for Mary, times the number of months that they stick around. Cost, as stated, and then you just subtract revenue minus cost to get an average profit. So our first conclusion was Mary is twice as profitable as Ollie. Simple. Then we looked at the current portfolio. So right now we have almost 700 Ollies, 250 Marys, and they're bringing in respectively that revenue. So then I asked myself, well, if you're B2B, and you're not going to, I can't really ask you to go to B2C. If you're B2C, I can't really ask you to go to B2B, so that's a natural choice. If you don't like my CMS, I can't really ask you to go to CMS. That's your choice as well. If you're big, I can't ask you to go small, and if you're small, I can't really make you big overnight. The one thing that I found that you can affect is hosting or not hosting. So then the case, I believe on page 9, it actually told me that 13% of the Ollies host and 2% of the Marys host. So I said 13% of this number, 90, 2% of that number, 5 Marys hosting. And then here's my assumption. So I didn't have churn rates for hosting, so I just took the churn rates from CMS and non-CMS. I figured it'd be appropriate. So the months skyrocket. They go from 23 to 48, just based on hosting. And then, if this is true, the profit per Ollie jumps to $12.50 from 6. It doubles. So now, an Ollie, 13% of them, that are actually hosting, they're actually profitable than a Mary. That we can't really distinguish if she's hosting or not. Mary, on the other hand, if she's hosting, look at that, 25. Doubles. More than doubles. So, we found the biggest change, if I can switch anything between the previous slide with the arrows, it was the hosting. That had the biggest effect on how long they stick around. And how long they stick around is directly correlated to our profits. So, to the pricing model. Ollies, we decided to leave them alone. Too much change for them might be bad. 500 startup cost, 250 monthly rate, but we decided to give them free hosting. We figured, hey, if Ollies are hosting with us, odds are they're going to stick around more than 23 months. If they stick around for 2 extra months, that pays. Beyond 2 months, they're already profitable. Then free hosting migration. It said that it costs about $500 for a company to migrate and host with HubSpot. We decided to waive that for the Ollies. We figured if they